welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is May 25th, 2026. As always, I've got some news for you today, but this is not financial advice. It's just my own biased opinions and educational material. So here we have the charts today. They're looking pretty good. Everything's sort of green. I'm pretty happy with this liquidity position I've been running. I've run it for how many days is this? I guess it doesn't show unless I click. So we're looking at, it still doesn't show how many bars. Where's the bars? Should be right there. Anyhow, it's been running for quite a while and bouncing around at the bottom, which kind of sucks. But anyhow, I'm happy with this. I've gotten fees most of the time. There's a tiny bit of outside of range down here, but my gold position's looking pretty good, and all my the fees are being auto compounded in, so this is not setting aside USDC for me or stable coins or anything like that. But so I'm happy with it though, but I would like to see gold. I think gold will crab for a little bit while longer. I might want to pull this down a little bit though, so I'm going to consider that myself and think about it. And if you see it different tomorrow, then you know I did it, and if there's no difference tomorrow, then you know I didn't do it. Okay, but anyhow, that's that. I might just wait for it to go at the bottom and then pull it down. Anyhow, so let's move on to ETH. ETH is up 1.3%-ish. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild, but okay, I guess. BTC is up less than 1%, about 0.5%. Sonic is up, looking pretty bad still, but it's up 1.3%. And Hype is interesting. So as you can see, it continues to pump and bound. I'm happy that I moved my position up a little bit. I think it's going to crab around in here for a while. I don't think it's going to blow through the top of this. And I know there's a lot of shorts on this already, and people want it to dump so that they can make their crazy aggressive shorts. But who knows? I'd rather just LP, collect the volume, and not worry too much about getting liquidated. Well, not worry at all about getting liquidated. But you know, it has its own problems. Like if I go to the top or the bottom of my range, I have to consider whether or not I want to rebalance, and therefore buy high, sell low, right? So that kind of sucks. But anyways, let's move on to the tweets. So here we have Clouted and Napendure. These are two chads from ETH Strategy, and as you can see, they're kind of chatting with each other. So Clouded is talking to Valisi of Lido, and he's like, you should check out like ETH Strategy, because ETH Strategy has some possibilities or opportunities for ETH holders to earn some APY on selling options and stuff like this. Now I got lots of videos on these. You can watch the videos if you want to understand deeper how this thing works. I'll probably retweet this, but anyways, there are some opportunities in here for ETH to get a sustainable yield that comes from option selling as opposed to other opportunities of ETH. So Valesi in this tweet, he's talking about Lido is trying to expand their repertoire and not just be a staking platform, but be other projects as well, because they do have a good reputation. So if they're likely to be able to expand their product suite and get users as well. So Napendure has replied to him, hey, can I get 5% on my ETH without any looping? And no, it's safe. And then I retweeted, yeah, you can through the staked strat position. Kind of gives you 8%. It is leveraged ETH, basically. This strat token is kind of like leveraged ETH, but you can't get liquidated. But you are holding a token that is not pegged to ETH, but sort of should be pegged to ETH, kind of. So you can check it out. Watch my video. Do some due diligence. Check out the chart. Of course, decide if you want to enter through a chart that looks the way it looks, but know that if you do stake the strat, you're getting around 8% in ETH. Okay, so you claim ETH out of this contract, out of this farm. Moving on, so here we have Ramses. Okay, Ramses is talking about their a little bit of their what's the word I'm looking for? Their metrics here. So let's kind of go through them. So number one, Ramses is the most audited DEX on Hyperliquid. So yeah, they have a lot of audits and a lot of experience running their DEX. It's been alive for a long time, like since the beginning of Arbitrum days. Its consistency highest return to holders for Hyper EVM per DeFi Llama. So if you are on Hyper EVM, then if you're holding RAM, you can get a very good return on your assets, or even providing liquidity there. Okay. Most responsive team and active community. I think this team is actually fantastic. They understand how their DEX works. They understand what people want. They use their DEX themselves, and they update the front end regularly to give features to the users that the users actually want to use. So I'm a big fan of Ramses. It's probably my favorite VE33 DEX in the space, and now they have like X33, which is a new model. Anyway, you can check it out deeper. I've got videos on it as well. You can always look deeper and find out if it's something you want to look at. The auto vaults are really good. Okay, moving on. So you have Brian of Layer Zero retweeting the Frax Finance. I talked about this, or I retweeted this with some thoughts the other day, like a TLDR, kind of read this article and then TLDR'd it. And Brian's tweeting it out as to just kind of mention that like Frax Finance is still using Layer Zero, and they don't plan on migrating, and they're happy. They've set it up so it's safe. Frax is a fantastic project that has a huge long track record of being very safe and doing their due diligence. They set up their system with Layer Zero the way it's supposed to be set up. Now, you know, the whole Kelp DAO thing, we can point blame at both projects, right? Both Layer Zero was and Kelp were at fault in this case. However, Frax has a huge TVL too, but they weren't exploited. So why? Because they set up their system properly. They set up the Layer Zero bridging system with more than one DVN, and they actually run their own DVN as well. So I'm happy to see that, like, you know, projects are still going. Like, of course, there are a lot of projects that are migrating away from Layer Zero, but, you know, there are some that are going to stay, and everything will heal and kind of go back. We were very lucky that the Kelp DAO was able to recover all those funds through the DeFi United system. But anyways, moving on. Oh, sorry, that's a double tweet. So today I retweeted this guy, Star Platinum. He's one of what I call a doomfluencer. He's always retweeting about terrible things, right? And I did this long tweet here. You can stop and read it all. I don't want to read it all, but basically I'm just kind of calling for us to like consolidate our narrative or our influence and kind of come together in like a kumbaya type moment where we kind of support each other instead of constantly trying to FUD each other and try to kill each other. We need to attract people, and when people look inside, they see fighting and hacks and just terrible stuff like this, and no one's going to join. No one's going to want to join the ecosystem. We need to be a little bit more welcoming in that sense. Okay, so here we have a tweet by Figo.eth saying why he's 100% Omega bullish on ETH, and he's retweeting this guy Austin who's being critical of ETH and saying, you know, basically there's a lot in here, a lot in his tweet. You can kind of pause this and read through it, and he's retweeting Ryan Adams, who's bullish on ETH, and read through all of that, but I'm going to focus on one point here, and it's like higher ETH equals higher fees and a structural barrier. So like he's saying that, you know, traditional systems don't use proof of stake because, you know, if the gas asset goes up in price, then the fees go up in price, right? Versus US dollars. And Figo contradicts him by saying fees are determined by market demand divided by supply. And to do a transaction on ETH network and have zero to do with ETH price. So he's saying that if ETH does go up in value, that doesn't necessarily mean that one transaction will go up in value. The transaction cost is based on the demand to send transactions. So if ETH goes up in price, one transaction cost doesn't necessarily go up in a price. Maybe transaction quantity goes down because price goes up, and then the cost per transaction stays the same. So that's what I'm understanding what Figo's saying here. I'll retweet this and kind of give it some more amplification. But you can dig through this a little bit deeper and see some of the other points that Austin is making and so forth. But I don't want to dwell on it too much. Okay, so here I am. I tweeted out yesterday that I still can't believe the Liquidity carry trade, ETH carry trade, is not full yet. Okay, it hasn't reached its capacity, right? So I did do a video on this. If you want to understand, it's right here. You can click it and find out what's going on inside here. It's pretty simple. You put in ETH. The ETH is used to bold, farm, and then you get more ETH out of it, right? So I say, it's at 18%. I'm surprised that people haven't migrated and filled this up and brought this down to something lesser, right? And he's like, the real APY is, Darth, he says, the real APY is only 2.3%, and the incentives will last 4 weeks. Not worth it to move funds around, in my opinion. So I disagree with him a little bit because, number one, 4 weeks is a significant amount of time to get 18% on your ETH, or maybe more and more it gets down to 15 or even 10%, right? I believe 4 weeks is a pretty significant consideration for incentivization. However, Sam jumps in here and says the incentives are going to be renewed, so this 18% might go for another month, right? And then also it's going to be part of the PIL. So the voters in the liquidity program can direct some of the bold interest payments to this. Okay, so that'll be pretty cool. So that's significant. I think Darth is being conservative and he's not being silly or foolish, but he maybe he's a little bit misinformed in the sense. And now I'm not saying you should take all your ETH and stick it in here, right? But it's definitely worth a consideration. And I'm surprised there's a lot of ETH out there. I'm surprised that it hasn't been gobbled up by whales who have massive amounts of ETH and who are just like, yeah, I can throw 10 ETH in here. I've got 20,000 of them, so it's all good, right? I'm surprised. Anyhow, moving on. So yield basis has opened their migration. So if you are a yield basis LP provider, then you must migrate. I'm not going to spend too much time on what is this migration. It's an upgrade to V3 that creates more stability inside the yield basis system. So that's great. If you want to know how it does that, then you'll have to dig a little bit deeper. I'm not going to get into that here. But if you are one of these LPers, you need to migrate immediately. Okay. Moving on, this guy here, so I don't want to dig completely into it, but basically Bybit has frozen his account. I don't know why. He doesn't know why. They've frozen his account. He can't take his money. He's got $200,000 in there. He's got 9 figures of volume. He's had 7 figures of liquid assets in there. Why is this guy trading on Bybit? There are so many on-chain options now. Hyperliquid, Risex, Lighter, even I can't remember the one on Binance. Anyhow, there's so many on-chain dexes now. Why are you using Bybit? To me, it's just crazy now. You got full KYC. He's banned. He deposited 10K. Has asked me for full proof of wealth, full KYC, pay slips, all this kind of crap. Yeah, so I don't know where he is, but good luck, my friend. Just get off the centralized exchanges. Use them for on-ramping and off-ramping if that's something you even need or want to do. Okay, moving on. Okay, I did talk about this already in my own tweet, but this is a specific tweet that shows what happened with this esports. Now, this esports, as far as I can tell, they did have some games and stuff like that, some video games you could play. So it wasn't completely vaporware, but yeah, as you can see, they rugged the whole pool basically. Just pulled all the liquidity out. I don't know. Anyhow, check it out. Oh, this is interesting. So this guy here is saying, hey, why would you pay off your mortgage? Just take all that money and buy this strategy stock, dividend stock, right? and you get 11% instead of paying 1%. That's like 10x your mortgage rate. He's like, why not do that? And I was just thinking, like, yeah, okay, but isn't that the same narrative that, like, what you call it, Luna was saying? Like, why pay our mortgage off? Just stick it in UST and put it in here in the anchor pool, right? Now, I know it's not exactly anchor, but there is definitely still some risk in this. This is not a bond, right? There's a little bit more risk in this than that. So anyhow, you can check it out. Consider whether you want to do this or not, but I wouldn't suggest you risk all of your assets, especially your home, to buy this and farm this. But definitely you can consider farming this, especially if you're an American. Okay, last one I'm going to talk about is Gabriel Saprios. There's a lot of talk about ETH privacy and ETH doing this thing called this Kohuku wallet SDK and stuff like that. He's got a really good tweet here, and he's kind of talking about how he's kind of trying to TLDR it for people, like what's going on, and basically he does it pretty good. So basically, Ethereum Foundation is basically helping with all privacy protocols on Ethereum. So there are a lot of them, but there are two major ones. We've got Railgun, privacy pools, and then also Tornado Cash. And he's just helping them with some UX and trust minimization fixes. So there's an interesting part down here. Where is it? Robust. So privacy. So Railgun allows you to actually perform DeFi activities through Railgun. So it's not just simply shielded tokens like you are using on ZEC or Near and stuff. It's actually shielded DeFi activities, which is pretty cool. And anyhow, so you can check it out. You can pretty much send any asset through Railgun or privacy pools. There just needs to be a pool. So it's not just, you have to hold this single token and get exposed to the capital gains or volatility of that single asset, buying high and then having to sell low later for privacy, which sucks, right? You can shield your USDC in Ethereum and have no volatility risk, right? So anyhow, you check it out. I think it's pretty cool. I'm happy that Ethereum has opened up some of their focus on the current narrative. Okay, so anyhow, that's it for today. I hope this has been interesting and useful. Thank you. Goodbye.